All right, you beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Hello, Mr. Alan Schultz. Good to see you this morning, sir. So let us know if today is your birthday. We have scanned everywhere we know to scan. So if we do not have your birthday down, we would love to know about it because yesterday we had some amazing voices here that got to sing happy birthday. So to Eric and Leisha. So Eric, Leisha, we hope you had an amazing day yesterday on your birthday. So the word Moss, I hope you're here this morning because this word is your word of the year. And when I saw it, I thought, I have to be honest. That's interesting, but I'll be honest, I really like it. And the word is panic. Panic. So let's go to the definition. Panic is a sudden, overwhelming fear that causes us to act irrational. It causes us to feel like we've lost control. It can trigger stress, uncertainty, unexpected situations. And as I looked at this, I mean, I think we would all know the word panic, you know, and think back on your life. Have you ever had a moment of panic? I would say absolutely 1000% you have. You know, might have been kids you've raised, it could have been your work, it could have been something that happened. Recently we had storms coming through, it could be a storm, like panic, you know. But here's what really happens. I dove into this, like kind of the science of panic. It's your brain goes into survival mode when you feel that adrenaline rush of panic, and your heart races more, like your heartbeat jumps up. Um, your thoughts are kind of scattered. Um, and it really kind of makes you struggle to make decisions, good, proper decisions. So, have you ever, listen, I've had times in my life, I can think about one where like the panic raced in front of me, and like all I could do was kind of stare at the situation. I couldn't even move. I couldn't even react. I couldn't even do the things I needed to do. And so I started thinking about that when I thought about the word panic. And I want to share this for me. One of the best things for me happened when I became a coach. Crazy enough. It's just a game, right? It's just a game. Football, I was a football coach. I was many coaches, but football was one of them. And it's just a game. But what happened in learning how to coach and learning the game of football was you only had seconds to make a decision. And so, fourth down and a half an inch, you had to make the decision. You couldn't sit there and ponder on it for 30 minutes. So, you had to remain calm. And what I learned is the coaches that were just abrupt and reacted and went crazy, they really struggled making calm, rational decisions. And so what it did for me is it caused me to realize, hey, if I want to be a good coach, I got to stay calm in the most chaotic moments. And it was a beautiful thing for me because today, like some of the lessons I learned in coaching, like when fight or flight happens, sometimes I find myself going to a calm place. Where's the exit door? What does this look like? Where is this happening? Like it, and so I guess for me, like, why is it important not to panic? And so what I really appreciate about this being Lee's word of the year is what if we all had it in the back of our mind? Okay, am I a person that panics over situations? If it's business, my volume's low. Oh my gosh, everything's crumbling below me. And I start to panic. Am I a person that I gain 3 pounds and it's like, oh my gosh, 3 pounds, I'm out of control. And it starts to spiral, right? Rather than going, hey, look, I put on 3 pounds, but I know how to take it off. So this week I'll do X, Y, and Z. Or it could be a relationship. How many of you panic over a moment in a relationship where you're like, oh my gosh, they did this. I bet they're doing this. I bet this. And then before you know it, you're just all out of sort, out of control. You know, I even thought about my health recently. We were talking about, health. You catch a cold, you do this. Like, does anybody ever panic over that? I'm never going to get well. It's been 5 days. And you just start to ramp yourself out of control. And so I thought to myself, man, why is not panicking important? Well, first of all, science says that it helps us make better decisions if we don't panic. We think more clearly. People that don't panic or learn how to deal with panic live a longer life. Science says we live a longer life if we're not in panic all the time. Um, you One of the things is you respond instead of reacting, right? When you're not in panic mode. Like you look for the response. Like one of my mentor coaches used to say, "What's the solution, Brent?" Because I would come in a panic, like, "Oh my gosh, we got to do this, we got to," and he was like, "So what is the solution? Let's come to me with the solution, not a panic." Right? So let me ask you a question. Are you someone that thinks of solutions rather than hitting the panic button? So I think we can train ourselves, is my whole point to this madness of me talking today. If you're a person of panic, and I've been there in many cases, and I still live there in a lot of cases, what I've come to the conclusion is looking at this word that Lee Moss has put in front of us today is we can absolutely train ourselves to be a person that deals with panic. We deal with the reaction. We bring our level down and we look for the solution. We look for, what we can do to better the situation rather than spiraling out of control like I've done so many times. So that was my thought today for this word. Andrew, I'll turn it to you.
Well, great word. And Lee, we're so sorry for causing panic in your life that you thought you were going to be late to your word. You're good. And I feel like, Coach, you stepped all over my toes, and that's a little mean dealing with this word panic because I can be a little bit of a panicker. Um, it's really interesting to see just a tad. Like picture a little shaking chihuahua. I think sometimes I can walk through life a little bit like that. So the quote that I found is a Simon Sinek quote, and we've all maybe read him. Um, he's got all kinds of books that can pertain to a beautiful industry that many of us are involved in. But he says panic causes tunnel vision. And calm acceptance of danger allows us to more easily assess the situation and see the options. And y'all know options are my love language. So if I can be calm in those moments of panic and I can see my options, well, that's going to help me get to the other side. So what I looked into is okay, this all sounds well and good. But if we're having a moment of panic, well, how do we keep calm? Like, how do we do it? How do we avoid it? So, what I found the first one was breathe first and act second. And all I can think about is when we were backstage, I was on a panel at our most recent event, and I'm not a calm speaker, the worst thing in the world. Like it's an honor to be honored and have that privilege to get up there. And it's the most awful, terrifying thing in the entire world. So I wasn't super calm. And one of the gals that I was going up there with wasn't feeling super calm either. So we were doing some box breathing and we were just trying to regulate our mood before we got out there on stage. So I love that. Breathe first, take a deep breath and then react. right? I think this works really well in an argument as well. Take a moment, center yourself before you deal with that stressful situation, whatever it may be. And that's going to help us reset our brain so that we can move forward. Next is to zoom out. And I think we all can have that moment, like where I'm in a moment of panic, whatever it may be. I'll tell you some moments of panic I've had in my life where you go to check out at a counter and your card doesn't go through. Oh, worst feeling. Oh, horrible feeling. And absolute panic, right? So zoom out and think about the big picture. So, okay, maybe the card didn't go through in this moment for whatever reason, but I still have clothes on my back. There's still some food in the pantry. We're going to be okay. So the big picture, this isn't the end of the world. It just feels like it right this second. Next is to give yourself a pep talk. Now, I'm famous for saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not telling you, I'm telling me. Like, I am okay. And I will put my little hand over my heart and you're like, you're going to get through this. I'm okay. And sometimes the person that needs the pep talk is the one that lives with us inside our head. So give that little person a pep talk in those moments where this feels like a crisis, but we're going to be okay. I'm okay. One step at a time. I've got this. I've got this, whatever it may be. Next is to prepare when you can. Panic a lot of times comes from feeling unprepared. So I think about that moment, before walking on stage, I knew I'd done my homework. I knew that I had mapped out like 3 different answers to the questions because I knew in that moment that my brain was going to kind of empty. So I needed lots of fodder in there that I could grab on. But when we prepare, we can lean back on that. So when we practice for that tough situation, we all know we're going to have them. If we can kind of have a little foresight and figure out, okay, what can I prepare for in this moment? We'll feel more in control and we can overcome that panic. And with that, control what you can, release what you can't. I think Arlene put in the chat, like, it is what it is, right? Like, figure out what you can and let the rest go. And so that can be hard. So if we can fix it, do it. If we can't, we'll take a deep breath and say, well, this is in God's hands and I'm going to move forward. And then lastly, lean on your people. In those moments of panic, if you're not alone, and if you are, pick up the phone, right? But lean on the people in your life that can help you gain some perspective and help calm you down. So there's a song out there, I think it's Kelly Clarkson, maybe, I might be wrong, but it's Kindly Calm Me Down. That might not be the, the actual title, but something along those lines. And it was like, well, I'm having a moment and your job is to step in and kindly calm me down. So sometimes we got to call that lifeline in and say, okay, I'm in a moment of panic. Can you be my sounding board and help get me back to zero? So that's what I had. We did miss a birthday yesterday. It's Jen. I didn't see it. So we love you, Jen, and happy birthday. And guys, the way we see a lot of them is to be, oh, Meghan Trainor. So sorry. That was a song. So thank you, Beth. Meghan Trainor sings the song. I was wrong.
Happy birthday, Jen.
Send us friend requests and then we can know it's your birthday if you have it on Facebook. So we'd love to be friends with you and celebrate you on your birthday.
Guys, have a great Tuesday. We love you. We're grateful for you. See you guys.
Love you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Love you.